Let me start off with the obvious here. Obviously, Pharaoh Total War's player count is not doing that great. And I for one am a lover of the Bronze Age. I for one don't want to see this game fail, but at the same time there are flaws within the game that obviously have to be acknowledged. I'll be more than happy to point out within this video what these flaws are. And many content creators have been talking about, how Pharaoh is a decent game, but this game is beset by the limitations that it already has. The limitations of the fact that it is based on, let's say, Warhammer and Troy, the limitations of, say, the battle engine, which is basically Warscape, and Warscape is starting to show its signs. And Pharaoh Total War is unfortunately caught between, let's say, a not so great moment of Total War right now. But here's the thing, Pharaoh Total War is not that bad as it is made out to be. Now there are plenty of people that will say, you're wrong, Measure, you're completely ignoring the game's fault. I'm not completely ignoring the game's fault. The campaign is intense. What is lacking is a lack of family tree. Okay, that is one for something that needs to be resolved. I think a family tree is needed right now. The battles do need improvement, of course they do. The chariots, I've seen how chariots fight. Chariots are good, but they are way too slow and they don't have the impact, let's say, as Rome 2 chariots would be. Say for example, if I charge a line of Rome 2 chariots into this unit, you would see here right now. So now let's compare this to chariots charging into Pharaoh's units. That also need to be changed in my opinion. Pharaoh Total War is not a bad game. It's not that bad compared to Rome 2 at release. And even then, Rome 2 doesn't even have all the mechanics it promised, like a full complete sentence system, a full political system. The political system in Rome 2 is more or less a bandage. That's what it is. It isn't that in-depth. If I could play the barbarian factions, I could play any barbarian factions and the family mechanics are the same. No unique faction within Rome 2 has a complete different political system that will really fit and suit its ideal way of governing. Right? In Pharaoh Total War, you have something else. What you have is each lord or each ruler wanting to become the Pharaoh of Egypt, and you have the court system. Ideally, they share the same court system, but the court system itself, I think, ideally needs to be more in-depth. Because I think CA Sofia has the talent to make a more in-depth political expansion into Pharaoh Total War. I think they could do way more with the Egyptian court system, to be honest with you. They could do a lot more within this game. My video is not meant to simply say that Pharaoh Total War is bad, so yep, let's make it Pharaoh Total War. I don't like it, so it's game over, and it's the same old tired nonsense. It's not. I could play as Ramesses and I could have a fun time playing as Ramesses, because it's easy with Ramesses. You know what you want to do. As Ramesses, you want to expand Egypt's waters, you want to make Egypt safe, you want to conquer Egypt, and you will have different mechanics. And obviously the 4 legacies really play into that factor. You can either build wonders, you can either spread your cult, you can either spread your religion. That's pretty much what you do as Egypt. And other people have been saying that if this game was £60, and if this game had the full Bronze Age, now let's say it had Mesopotamia and Greece, then people would be willing to pay. They would be at least willing to let its excuses, they would be at least willing to oversee most of its flaws for a big Bronze Age campaign sandbox. And that's what I signed up for. When Troy Total War was announced, I was not excited not for the Trojan setting that much. I was excited because we were going to get this huge Bronze Age map, let's say from Troy to Mesopotamia. Okay? What did we get? We got the Bronze Age cut. We haven't got a full-scale Total War game. And that is what I believe is sort of hampering Pharaoh Total War right now. Okay? And I would still say to you guys, give CA Sofia some credit. Because they are the guys that saved Rome 2. They are the guys that added the family political tree when Rome 2 didn't even have it. They added all the new mechanics and stuff. But at what point is CA Sofia basically going to become, let's say, like, they will correct XYZ problems of XYZ? Let's say about the campaign right now. that the Total War series is not just multi-continental titles. Okay, you have to have a Shogun 1, and obviously one of the most loved games is of course Shogun 2. But Pharaoh, I would say, is literally Shogun 2 but expanded, right? It is a large campaign map. You know, Empire arguably covers the most land in real world terms, yet because it tries to cover so much of the globe, it also leads to important areas being rendered as a very small number of regions. And this is a good critique that we can say for Pharaoh here, that Pharaoh is covering a large area. Okay, it does have Asia Minor, it does have Canaan, it does have a little bit of Assyria, I think, a little bit, and it does, if you play with the No Fog of War mod, there may be a possible Troy expansion in the future, maybe possible, because there is some landmass for it. There is Crete, and there's a bit more of Asia Minor that we might get. Alright? But also, because it's been done in this way, it does kind of make me sad that we're not getting Mesopotamia right now, because there's no confirmed roadmap or plan yet, and until that comes, I won't know. The critique of this is that Pharaoh is still much less in a way. Yes, it's very huge. Yes, it's got 185 settlements, but it needs more. And you can obviously add in a bit of a landmass of Mesopotamia. You can add in 10-20 provinces. That's what it needs. Right now, to make sure that the player base if the player base is slowly dipping around, then what I'm saying is to CA Sofia is, guys, please add in Mesopotamia. Announce it in your roadmap whenever you announce it. Give us the full assembly kit so that modders can mod the entire campaign map of Pharaoh Total War. Right? We shouldn't be restricted in any way, shape or form when it comes to modding Pharaoh Total War. I think we should mod every single element of it, because it can lead to some fantastic overhauls in the future. A Crusades mod, a Napoleonic mod, a Roman Legion mod in Egypt. I think those would be absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, Mesopotamia is needed. People are saying that they would spend more money on this game if this game just had Mesopotamia and Greece. And look, we fans of the Bronze Age are not asking a big thing here. We are simply asking that you expand the map and you give us what we are asking for. I'm not asking for Medieval 3 with the huge entire global map or anything like that. What I'm saying is, if you add Mesopotamia, I can guarantee that the player base or the player count will increase. It won't be substantially enough, but what it will be is that it will sustain the game long enough so that it can finish its cycle. I don't want to see Pharaoh Total War flopping, and I don't want to see CA Sofia being punished because they are working with a project that obviously has issues from the old engine. If you want to give credible feedback, then yeah, sure, critique Total War by all means. I would say critique every single Total War. Critique every single Total War that doesn't have any features, let's say from 3K, and why has it not continued into Pharaoh? Why does Pharaoh Total War, for example, not have an espionage system? Why does it not have an agent system, which Troy ironically has? And a family tree, marriage and politics is what I think Pharaoh Total War needs. I think it will just enhance the campaign gameplay even more. And here's what I say for the roadmap ahead. We need Mesopotamia, we need Greece. It will substantially help Pharaoh Total War. At least it will ensure that it completes its cycle. For Pharaoh Total War is to become a full-scale Bronze Age Total War game. I don't want to make a video saying, oh, wait a minute, Pharaoh Total War sucks because they didn't give us this, and this. Therefore, it's a really bad attempt at ancient Egypt, and therefore, I shall ignore all the concerns of all the Egyptologists that would absolutely love the frickin' heck out of this game. When you say, oh no, but Egyptologists, they're not the prime audience for Total War. But here's what I'm saying. when CA makes a game or a product or anything, who do they refer to? Historians. If you make a game on ancient Egypt, who are you going to refer to? Egyptologists, historians. That's what you're going to aim it for. But you will say, oh no, but the Bronze Age is not an interesting topic. I'm like, have you guys seen Assassin's Creed Origins? Have you guys seen The Prince of Egypt? Have you guys seen all the Egyptian related stuff? It was Napoleon that went to Egypt. It was French Egyptology that revived the whole ancient history Egyptian thing. I mean, during the Victorian times, Egyptology was really, really popular. I really don't get this well, frankly, I don't even want to mince my words here. Frankly, nonsense excuse that the Bronze Age is not interesting. They're not interesting. Like, that it just doesn't make sense. Read a book. Go look on popular media. Ancient Egypt was popular. I mean, you guys that talk about, oh no, Medieval 3, Empire 2, Medieval 3, Empire 2. What about Medieval 3 and Empire 2? For years we've been asking for that game and still hasn't come yet. For years. It would be good, for example, if CA did this, that for the older games they release a lot of DLC. And they can definitely do that. I don't think anybody would even have a problem with that. They should do it. That's why I say, do it. But anyway, that's the point I personally wanted to address. For those that say, oh no, it's not a good game, oh no, it's not a bad game, I'm sorry. It's a decent Total War game. It's not meant to be revolutionary. Pharaoh Total War, I'm sorry to say, I don't think was aiming to be revolutionary. It wasn't. You can just look from the outset. If it wanted to be revolutionary, it would completely be a huge Bronze Age game, okay? And the UI would be different for each faction. It would be a completely different experience. I think what Pharaoh Total War was meant to be was, yes, it was more the same, but it was just a more unique landmass, more different cities, more different cultures, and that's what you have. Do I agree with the criticism, and I've mentioned it before, that family tree, marriage politics is not there? It needs to be there. I think there's no ifs or buts about it. It needs to be added in. We need the full assembly kit. And Pharaoh Total War has great potential for DLC expansion. But when I see the community not receiving the game as it wants to receive it, it does make me depressed. Because I'm sure all Total War fans want a Total War game where they all want to be passionate about it. No Total War fan doesn't want a Total War game where they're not that passionate about it. I mean, even anybody can agree on that. But when you know that this game is not meant for you, then I say then leave that game. Leave it. If it's not meant for you, then it's not meant for you. If you didn't enjoy it, then don't cover it. Stop it. Because plenty of people have already covered enough of the negativity surrounding Pharaoh. Right? It's time now that there are people that cover this content of Pharaoh Total War in a positive way. And I know what people will say, oh no, you can't say anything positive about this game, because if you do it, how dare you, you are enabling practices. No, I will not take that. Alright? The reason Warhammer is in its mess is because the Warhammer fanbase allowed it to happen. The reason Historical Total War is in a mess is because Historical Total War also allowed it to happen to a degree. You made sure that Thrones of Britannia flopped. It's a simple and valid admission. Thrones of Britannia was the last true historical Total War game that had pure battle mechanics, good sieges, good atmosphere, it had pretty much good things. But it was also flopped. And that's the reason we got titles like 3K and we got more, romantic historical Total War games. I'll make an example here, okay? May not be the best of examples, but the reason people were complaining about Assassin's Creed, even though it's unrelated, why Assassin's Creed Odyssey wasn't that great, or why Assassin's Creed Valhalla wasn't that great, is because people made AC Unity flop at launch. That then told Ubisoft at that time that they had to go and change it. That's why they changed the formula and they copied Witcher 3. So that's why where we are right now is also a reason because of that. I know I will be offending a lot of opinions when I say this. But it's also because I don't really want to blame anybody. I think it's more or less everybody is fatigued with Total War at some point. And Pharaoh, unfortunately, is caught between the crossfires of this. And I could go on and on and on. And for people that want to talk about the battle AI and stuff, I'm still going to say again, the battle AI is hit and miss. I've had plenty of good moments, plenty of bad moments as well. But it's not as if the AI is going to be that bad. If you want to talk about Total War AI being bad, why don't we look at Empire Napoleon's AI? One of the most unfinished AI you could ever fight against. Even Rome 2, to a degree. Right? The AI engine is already full of errors from Warscape. So that's how much is there. But the voice acting is great, the battle music is great, and we need to get rid of this obsession that only Rome Total War Medieval 2 soundtracks are really fantastic and nothing can ever top that. I just don't agree with that. I think we have to evolve as a fan base to a degree. We do need to start acknowledging that there are good parts about new Total War as well. It can't be that only old Total War, every single thing about old Total War is superior and nothing ever good came out of new Total War. It can't be like that. And you could say, yeah, a Pharaoh Total War is a testing ground, but then every Total War has been a testing ground for every single new mechanic or every single old mechanic that's been added in back and forth. I'm more or less defending the game. I'm not even defending CA at this point. I would say give CA Sofia some credit. Give them some credit. Because they're the ones that saved Rome 2. They're the ones that have the family tree. And Rome 2, and I still repeat, Rome 2 in a streamlined campaign gameplay experience is not that really enjoyable. It's not really. But their gigantic faction variety, however, excuses most of those flaws, by the way. Even the battles are fast-paced. Do you want Pharaoh Total War games to be fast-paced? Do you want the battles to be fast-paced or do you want it to be slow-paced? So many people used to complain, Total War battles are so slower paced. Sorry, not slow paced, fast paced. And then they change it, then no one's satisfied. I mean, what do you guys want with Pharaoh Total War at the end of the day? Those of you that don't like the game, what do you want with this game? Seriously, what do you guys want? What do you want to see the game improve, survive, improve its mechanics, become a better Total War game, or do you want it to just gloat about it and say, ha ha, it's not doing that great? Genuine question I seriously have. And why don't we want to see a future where Pharaoh is successful? That's also a good question to ask. Why don't you want to see a Pharaoh Total War that improves upon what it is stated out to be? If you feel that the battle mechanics don't work, if you feel that the morale system needs improvement, that the chariots need to be corrected, I'm sure these are things that can be worked upon. I'm sure CA Sofia can improve upon this. But why are we not envisioning a future? People are saying, oh, if it was for £60, then I'd buy it for that. Well, half of you have literally pointed out in whatever, forums, discussions, videos, that it's not the full age, Bronze Age experience. And therefore, it would be more interesting. But I'm like, then why aren't you making videos? Why are none of you going out and making videos saying, let's add Mesopotamia, let's add Greece? Why are none of you doing that? Because if you truly want Mesopotamia and Greece, CA Sofia needs to know. The entire community must let them know that they want it. And then people say, oh, but look, the sales weren't that great, so the DLC can't be fulfilled. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but I'll be honest. As someone that likes Pharaoh, dooming the game from the start, trolling the community, the Total War community for promoting this game, is just not how a fan base should work. Now people are excusing, oh, it's not because I hate Pharaoh, it's because I don't like the setting. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Look, this is what I'm trying to say. This tribalism doesn't work. Tribalism divides all of us. We are all Total War fans. We all want a good Total War game at the end of the day. And simply just saying, well, if it's not worth it, don't buy it, then how does that help Pharaoh? That doesn't help CA Sofia in any way. It's not helping their chances of getting good projects in the future. It's not helping anyone buy anything. Yes, is it their fault to a degree that the pricing was too high? Obviously. It could be like £30-40. I 100% agree with that. But simply dooming a game because you don't like the time period, because you feel that it's just carrying on the old mistakes of war script that deserves to flop, that it deserves to be completely this, that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Because what if Medieval 3 or Empire 2 comes and they have the same issues? Okay? It's based off XYZ engine, it's based off this engine, it has a bad launch, etc. Then what will you say then? What else can replace Total War at this point? It's a genuine question to ask. Because I can agree with 100,000 criticisms of Pharaoh Total War, but I can also agree with 100,000 praises of Pharaoh Total War as well. And now I know I picked these numbers out of anything, but I'm just talking my mind here now, because I was going to create a really in-depth critique about Pharaoh Total War. But at this point, seeing everybody saying, my problem with Pharaoh Total War Pharaoh is not worth it, Total War Pharaoh is bad, don't buy the game, blah 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 blah. I'm saying that there has to be some positive coverage. That's why I'm bringing out my coverage of this game. Now I made lots of videos on Pharaoh, but I haven't had time to fully devote time to it. But I've got lots of games to cover and stuff. But I'm also doing Pharaoh Total War as well. But even I am just disappointed that everybody's gloating about the fact that Pharaoh Total War should be punished in such a way. I think it's been really harshly untreated, really, unfairly, and eventually it will end up like Thrones of Britannia. The future of Pharaoh Total War right now is still in CA Sofia's hands. We are, of course, fans. We that love this game will want this game to succeed. We don't want this game to flop. And we just don't want it to be brought down just because of gloating or community or whatever. Okay? We as fans of the Bronze Age want this game to succeed. And it's obvious, we need a roadmap from CA Sofia, and we need them confirming that they will allow Assyria and Babylon as expansion. Because I am saying right now, that is the only way that will at least quell 70% of the issues that the game currently has. Okay? And Assyria and Babylon needs to come. I need to know if it is Assyria and Babylon. Because the adding Assyria and Babylon is like 20... Adding Assyria and Babylon is like 20-30 regions. It's not even that much. I mean, what are we asking? We're asking for just a couple of new cities, a couple of new army rosters, and new campaign mechanics, by the way. It shouldn't be just a uniform campaign mechanics. There's plenty to critique about Pharaoh Total War. I mean, the biggest factor is no one has even critiqued the user interface. I haven't seen anybody making a video on why the user interface is so uniform, and it's not making sense. Okay. So Pharaoh Total War. Okay, so let me start this again. So here's how I see it so far. CA Sofia currently has the hands of Total War Pharaoh in their court right now. Alright? What they need to do is very simple. Improve the existing battle mechanics, improve chariots, improve morale and flanking, and make sure that the campaign has politics, more political systems, more family tree, more marriage and politics. We need more of that. And they need to confirm with the DLC that they will add Assyria and Babylon. Because right now, that will solve 70% of the issues the game has. It will increase to a higher player count. Alright? I don't know if it will be that substantial, but it will be enough. Enough to make sure that the game can at least guarantee for a full-on cycle. This game is amazing for those that love the Bronze Age, for those that are fans of the Bronze Age, for those that are fans of the Egyptology department or whatever it is. And I think people need to give this game more of a chance. And simply just playing the game and this sucks, this sucks, that doesn't help. It doesn't help the game in any way, shape or form, and that's all I'm going to say about it right now. Now, I'm not attacking anybody. This is after reading so many reactions, watching so many reactions. This is my general feedback. right now. And all I say to CA Sofia is, you guys have the talent, give us the full Bronze Age game. Because I will be a very disappointed fan, to say the least, to hear that if in a roadmap you don't have Assyria, you don't have Babylon, it will be disappointing. Because then at that point, just give us the full assembly kit, allow us to mod the campaign map, and let modders add in, the Bronze Age cities. Let them add Mesopotamia. Let them add Elam or whatever. Because modders in Warhammer, they added in Nippon and Kush. Sorry, no, Kush. They added. I think they added some other faction, but they added it because CA has not added in or Nippon in Warhammer. So it goes to say, the ball is in your court, CA Sofia. Don't disappoint us. You can still make this game even more greater, and that's what I want to see. You guys are passionate. You talk with your fans. We want to see more of this. So make this game even more great. Let's have this game expand to Assyria and Babylon. Let's add in more mechanics, and I think Pharaoh Total War will be a fine game. That's it. I don't think it's a bad game, and quite frankly, I've had a lot of fun in it. If you vehemently disagree with me, engage me in the comment section down below. I will not be afraid to address, and if you want to have epic discussions and debates, I'm more than happy to. I may be the only content creator going out here right now and saying, this is not a bad game, this game shouldn't be punished, and I don't think that punishing it is going to help CA Sofia's chances anyway. Not to a big extent, but yeah. And don't think for 1 second I don't agree with the criticism. I do agree. I don't think for 1 second that I don't agree with the criticism. I do agree. But it's obvious that this game does need some good coverage as well. It can't always be negative.